What's going on, everybody? Sports Player 2.0 Daniel here. And guys, we went 0-1 in the NHL and 8-1 in the NBA. So we had a bad day in the NHL. Well, not really a bad day, but there was only one game and we got that game wrong. And we went 8-1, only getting the 76ers game wrong. How do the 76ers lose to the Detroit Pistons? They just ruined my perfect day in the NBA. Dang it. But it's fine. We had 8 wins, which is great. 8-1 is great. And let's follow up that performance with another one. Another good performance here. We got a rebound in the NHL, though. The Rangers are going to Buffalo to face the Sabres. The Rangers come in at 1-3-1, and the Sabres come in at 2-3-1. The last game for the New York Rangers, they lost 3-2 versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Buffalo Sabres, they won 4-3 versus the Capitals in a shootout. Yeah, that game ended in a shootout. And Buffalo is a favorite in this one, but the likely starters in this game is Alexander Georgiev for the New York Rangers and Linus Ullmark for the Buffalo Sabres. And I think this one will be an upset. Give me the Rangers 2 in this game on the road in Buffalo. Next up, we have the St. Louis Blues going to Vegas to face the Golden Knights. The Blues come in at 3-2-1, and the Golden Knights come in at 5-1-0. The last game for the St. Louis Blues, they lost a tough one to the Kings. Lost 6-3 versus the Kings. And for the Golden Knights, they won 1-0 versus the Arizona Coyotes. A shutout for Marc-Andre Fleury in that game. And the likely starters for this game is Jordan Binnington for the St. Louis Blues and Robin Lehner for the Vegas Golden Knights. And Vegas is a favorite in this one. Give me the Golden Knights 2 in this game at home. Next up, you have the Pittsburgh Penguins going to Boston to face the Bruins. The Penguins come in at 4-2-0, and the Bruins come in at 3-1-1. The last game for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they won 3-2 versus the Rangers, like I mentioned. And for Boston, they won also 6-1. They blew out the Philadelphia Flyers. They won 6-1 versus the Flyers. And the likely starters for this game is Tristan Jarry for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Tuukka Rask for the Boston Bruins. And the Bruins are a favorite in this one. Give me the Bruins 2 in this game at home. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Flyers going to New Jersey to face the Devils. The Flyers, like I mentioned, lost to the Bruins 6-1. And for New Jersey, they won 2-0 shutout to the New York Islanders. They won that game 2-0 against the New York Islanders. And the likely starters for this game is Brian Elliott for the Philadelphia Flyers and Scott Wedgwood for the New Jersey Devils. And the Philadelphia Flyers are a favorite in this one, but give me upset. Give me the Devils 2 in this game at home. Next up, we have the New York Islanders going to Washington to face the Capitals. The Islanders come in at 3-2-0, and the Capitals come in at 3-0-3. The last game for the New York Islanders, they lost 2-0 versus the New Jersey Devils, and the last game for Washington, they lost 4-3 to the Sabres in a shootout, like I mentioned. The likely starters for this game is Semyon Varlamov for the New York Islanders and Vitek Vankanen for the Washington Capitals. And the Islanders are a favorite in this one. Give me the Islanders 2 in this game on the road in Washington. Next up, we have the Florida Panthers going to Columbus to face the Blue Jackets. The Panthers come in at a perfect 2-0-0, and the Blue Jackets come in at 2-2-2. The last game for Florida was a week ago, and they won 5-4 in overtime versus the Chicago Blackhawks. And for Columbus, they won 5-2 versus the Lightning, the Stanley Cup champions from last season, Tampa Bay Lightning. So they beat the Lightning 5-2. And the likely starters for this game is Sergei Bobrovsky for the Florida Panthers going up against his former team and his former teammate Elvis Merzlikins And the Blue Jackets are favored in this one, but give me upset. Give me the Panthers. The return of Sergei Bobrovsky to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets here on the road in Columbus. Next up, we have the Blackhawks going to Nashville to face the Predators. The Blackhawks come in at 2-3-1, and the Predators come in at 2-3-0. The last game for Chicago, they won 6-2 versus the Detroit Red Wings, and for Nashville, they lost 3-2 versus the Dallas Stars. Now, the likely starters for this game for Chicago, we have Kevin Lankinen, and for the Nashville Predators, we have Pekka Rinne. And Nashville is a favorite in this one, but I'm going to have to go upset. Give me the Blackhawks to win again and beat the Nashville Predators on the road in Nashville. Next up, we have the Edmonton Oilers going to Winnipeg to face the Jets. These two teams played each other on Sunday, and the Edmonton Oilers won 4-3. In that game. The likely starters for this game is Mikko Koskinen for the Oilers and Connor Hellebuyck for the Jets. Now, the Oilers come in at 3-4-0 and the Jets come in at 4-2-0, and the Edmonton Oilers are a favorite in this one, but give me upset. Give me the Jets to win this game at home. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Kings going to Minnesota to face the Wild. The last game for the Kings, they won 6-3 versus the Blues, like I mentioned. And for Minnesota, they lost 5-3 versus the San Jose Sharks. The Kings come in at 2-2-2, and the Wild come in at 4-2-0. And the likely starters for this game is Jonathan Quick for the LA Kings and Kaapo Kähkönen for the Minnesota Wild, because Cam Talbot got injured in the last game, I believe. Yeah, he's injured, and the Minnesota Wild are favored in this one, but give me upset. Give me the Kings to win this game on the road in Minnesota. Next up, we have the Detroit Red Wings going to Dallas to face the Stars. Now, the Red Wings come in at 2-4-0, and the Stars come in at 2-0-0, a perfect 2-0-0. The last game for the Detroit Red Wings, they lost 6-2 versus the Chicago Blackhawks, like I mentioned. And for Dallas, they won 3-2 versus the Nashville Predators, like I mentioned. And the likely starters for this game is Thomas Greiss for the Detroit Red Wings and Anton Khudobin for the Dallas Stars. And Dallas is a favorite in this one. Give me the Stars to win this game at home. Next up, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs going to Calgary to face the Flames. The Maple Leafs come in at 5-2-0, and the Flames come in at 2-1-1. Now, these two teams played each other on Sunday, and the Maple Leafs won that matchup 3-2, and the likely starters for this game is Frederik Andersen for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Jacob Markstrom for the Calgary Flames. And the Maple Leafs are a favorite in this one. Give me the Maple Leafs to win this game on the road in Calgary. Next up, we have the San Jose Sharks going to Colorado to face the Avalanche. Both teams come in at 3-3-0. Yep, and the likely starters for this game is Martin Jones for the San Jose Sharks and Philip Grubauer for the Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche are a favorite in this one. Give me the Avalanche to win this game at home. And the final matchup of the day in the NHL, we have the Anaheim Ducks going to Arizona to face the Coyotes. The last game for the Anaheim Ducks, they won 3-1 versus the Avalanche, like I mentioned. And the Arizona Coyotes lost 1-0 versus the Golden Knights, like I mentioned. And the likely starters for this game is John Gibson for the Anaheim Ducks and Darcy Kempfer for the Arizona Coyotes. And the Arizona Coyotes are a favorite in this one. Give me the Coyotes to win this game at home. And that does it for the NHL. Let's move on to the NBA. Only 3 games in the NBA today. The Knicks are going to Utah to face the Jazz. The Knicks come in at 8-10, and the Jazz come in at 12-4. And the Utah Jazz are an 11-point favorite in this one. I will take the Jazz in this one at home, but give me the Knicks plus 11. I think the Knicks are in every game this season. They're in every single game, but they just don't come up on the winning side. They just find a way to lose every single game. But if the playoffs started today, the Knicks would be in it, so that's a good thing for the Knicks. But I think they will keep it closer in this one. Give me the Jazz 2 in this game at home. The Clippers are going to Atlanta to face the Hawks. The Clippers come in at 13-4, and the Hawks come in at 8-8. I think this one will be won by the Clippers. Give me the Clippers 2 in this game on the road in Atlanta. And the final match of the day, we have the Washington Wizards going to Houston to face the Rockets. The Washington Wizards come in at 3-9, and the Rockets come in at 6-9. And I think the Rockets will win this game at home. And that does it for today's picks for tomorrow's games. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please give me the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.